start this morning with some numbers from the 2016 presidential race. They are just in, hot off the presses. And the trends you suspect are indeed real. Donald Trump way up. Donald Trump's candidacy is up 32% from the middle of August 18th. Meanwhile, Jeb Bush, the man most Republican insiders assumed would be the Republican nominee in the end, is down 6 points, 19% from August 18th.
Donald Trump at 32%, up 16.
That's exactly right.
So this is post-debate, of course. We had the debate, and then this was, mid-September, the summer doldrums here. Are people paying attention? Look at these numbers. You think absolutely they're paying attention right now. These numbers are troubling news for Jeb Bush as he's out there on the campaign trail now, spending money in ads trying to go after Donald Trump to maybe try to close that gap a little bit.
Yeah, and Governor Walker and Governor Kasich, they're seeing their numbers tick down a little bit. You know, when somebody goes up, somebody's got to come down.
Peggy Noonan has a really smart piece in the Wall Street Journal this morning, which you should read if you haven't. But she basically makes the point, Americans don't want a dynasty. A dynasty suggests you're happy with the way things have been going, so let's hire more of the same. That's not how people feel right now, and so they may be rejecting Jeb Bush because they feel like maybe it's time for someone new. If that's true, it would help explain Hillary Clinton's numbers, because they're going down too. She's near a 23-year low. Since 1992, that was the last time she was at 41% nationally, but that's where she is this morning.
And it all comes down to trust.
That's overall.
That's exactly
among
right.
Democrats, she's still pretty strong.
Yeah, so when you're asking Democrats in these polls, how do you feel about Hillary Clinton, that's remained the same. But you're right, it's this overall poll, this overall Gallup poll on her assessment, and it comes down to truth right now. She's been answering out on the campaign trail repeatedly questions about is she trustworthy, and is she telling the truth about her emails, and of course the Benghazi scandal.
And why won't she ever sit down with reporters? Well, finally she did for her third interview, as far as we can tell nationally. She sat down with MSNBC, and she offered sort of a half apology, a backhanded apology. I'm sorry that you're confused about what was going on with my email server, not that I was breaking the rules. Let's watch her interview with Andrea Mitchell.
Are you sorry? Do you want to apologize to the American people for the choice you made?
Well, it wasn't the best choice, and I certainly have said that. I will continue to say that. It would have been better if I'd had two separate accounts to begin with.
Does it concern you that people don't trust your answers on this?
Well, it certainly doesn't make me feel good. At the end of the day, I am sorry that this has been confusing to people and has raised a lot of questions, and I take responsibility, and it wasn't the best choice.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, so I'm sorry that you're dumb. You don't understand technology. This is like when you're in an argument with someone and the person says, I'm sorry you feel that way. Right. That's not sorry.
Yeah, don't ever pull that
attack on you.
Don't ever pull that in a marriage, by the way. That's a wrong tactic to take. Honey, I'm sorry that you got so angry about this last night.
Because you have no emotional self-control.
When also the claims that Colin Powell had done the same thing, Andrea Mitchell said, actually, there's no precedent set by anybody else in an office as high as yours having done this. Colin Powell had a personal and also had a .gov.
But if you think that's ridiculous, watch this answer. This is Hillary Clinton's answer for why she did it in the first place. She shows up at the State Department. She gets a new email system. Why did she do that? Here's her explanation.
I was not thinking a lot when I got in. There was so much work to be done. We had so many problems around the world. I didn't really stop and think, what kind of email system will there be?
Okay, now on this one, I'm going to give her a pass on this.
Really?
I'm going to give her a pass on this, right? She's Secretary of State. She's probably not tech savvy, right? She comes in, she's got a lot of work to do. All right, I'm going to be the Secretary of State of the United States of America. I don't care, whatever. Set up whatever email servers you want. I don't know. Do what you got to do. You guys know.
But she had to hire staff to do it, Clayton. She could have just done exactly what everybody else in the State Department has been doing.
Do you think she's sitting there with a pen or a quill and a paper going over who the IT specialist is she's going to hire?
Well, there was no IT specialist.
That's the point.
Begin with. Her options were these. She could either accept State Department email and choose a password, or she could set up an entirely separate system and hire a staff to monitor it. Her lawyers came to her and said, look, you want to avoid disclosure laws? You needed your own system.
So she didn't underthink it. She overthought it.
She overthought it. Exactly right.
Well, and so hiring these individuals, all I'm saying is that I just don't think she's like that tech savvy that she was concerned about where these things are going. I'm sure she had a team of people advising her to do this, including somebody who used to work on her campaign, Brian Pagliano, who was one of her staff members when she was running for her failed presidency in 2008. There he is. More trouble, though, this morning because apparently new reports out this morning show that Clinton's personally paid him as a government employee to become part of her IT staff. and who was running the server. He had no security clearance, no security experience when he was put in charge of her email servers.
Also, the person who went through the emails, at least according to a report by the Daily Caller, it appears that person who looked through the emails before giving them to Hillary Clinton's lawyers didn't have security clearance either, or may not have anyway.
This is no longer a scandal. It's a crisis. We'll bring the latest to you.
All right, but